And I'm gonna take one more round to go through some negative types, because those are only two different types. And even though they're not as much complicated, but as much as like I don't say or regard about, and they're really fucking annoying. And it's not that I spend a lot of time tolerating. I just don't know why some of them would come back to me. Now, even if I'm not the meanest one, or I withhold a lot of things up to a certain point where my discipline is high, but it's not really exactly tolerance, because sometimes I could just end it. I could just end it. And sometimes I could do it in a blue way, I could do it in a red way, I could do it my way, I could do it the hard way, I could do it the normal way, I could do it in a very calm, normal way that no one would notice. But you know what my real fucked up problem is? Is that if you're really that fucking stupid, or that, because like you have to be stupid. You've been doing it for too long, or like even a few weeks is like insane if you didn't make your fucking point already, or the fact that you just like fucking insane, or something's wrong with you mentally. And the other people that you seem to be like after are like way too high on the scene, or way too up in the scene, or way too basic and unique for what you are trying to tool or competitize and shit. And I don't think you could just be an outright bully. And I've seen other brute things that I didn't exactly consider trash, but I've seen other dudes who are like kind of trashy who fight you, because I'm not trashy, but kind of people that are kind of trashy, and they're just kind of like really no nonsense brutish men, or even like, you know, a little bit arrogant or bravado-ish or whatever the fuck that it is. Like, you know, I forget the fucking word because I don't use it that much and I stay away from it. But by the end of it, like I've seen that, and even their answer is to sit there and call you trash and shit. And even though I handle some more complicated case, because some men that aren't exactly breaking all my laws in the universe, because it's not like I have dominion over like hatred towards men, but I get a lot of that weird shit, and I'm usually the one like off to the side about it because it's just not really my thing. But I also understand why I'm not like always gravitated towards men, or why I'm not always with men. But even though the basic type of men that I didn't really like, but I could respect, that never really broke any fucking rules, even they just gave up, kept it lame, and just called you trash, and I understood it. And they were the best of the worst brute, or of the best of what is tolerable and makes some sense. And like after a while, just because they're athletic, I would never bully them. And it's just like they're just athletic. I don't know what the fuck the problem is. I'm not talking about like this person is a nerd or even on my side. I just seem to understand it because he just keeps like trying to orient me to different arguments. But that's not even my type or my friend. So even when I'm annoyed with him, I'm like, you're still an enemy and I consider killing you. But it's like weird because like whatever you're trying to do to get to harassment to me or annoy me, or your weird way of installing packages for your own help, like it's just stupid because you do that shit and it's like just arrogant, or period, you could have like figured out a different way to ask for help or set up different help, but you're too weak to admit weakness, or too strong to admit weakness, or just plain simple too weak, doesn't even know what's going on, other than that all you know how to do is be a villain, or you prefer that, or you don't want any intention either way, so you just like some other corrupt nerds that just definitely want everything gone about certain things. And like I don't live with that kind of bullshit either. I don't put up with that bullshit either. But because it seems that I have it easier, I actually have to respond to you and make your problems worse and give you my problems. I'm not even like that, so be lucky about that. So that's our relationship, is that I don't give you problems back, and that's what you respect? Nah, dog, you're just making my life harder. So eventually I have to crack on you, and that's what I'm known for. I don't just sit there and play little games with people and figure out their power and try to absorb them and do all this weird bullshit. I just don't like you. I don't respond to you. I don't need to give you tanking the things about that. I don't even know what your fucking game is. And all the other marks that I left out there for my type or for other types, even if you know not to figure them out because we all work differently, it still would be like, why are you looking? Like some of those other gangs or crews or whatever are so dangerous in the way that you're trying to mess with, that it doesn't really make any sense that you would do this. Like what's the information when it's just kind of like, trust me, you're gone. You know what I mean? Like if we really just didn't understand and you really have no message and there's really nothing, you gone. I don't owe you. Trust me, you're gone and I don't owe you. But the fact that you like semi a public menace, why would they bring you to some other monster's den for some fucking reason when I don't even owe you anything and I'm known to be a nice monster or something? Because I'm not even a monster, but it's like, well, obviously I was raised by some, so I can't owe you. And I'm not talking about like really evil, corrupt ones. I'm talking about just like, oh, well, pariety, primal instinct. Well, I don't owe them a tribe. So whatever. But by the end of it, like, there's no fear that we have to brood in that, but I'm not going to knock that down because they've had to defend themselves too, to the point where like, why would they have to be the enemy anyway? But beyond that fucking point, due to the fact that you're just purely annoying and you do evil shit that purposely messes up fate. I don't know why you would think of yourself as a good one, other than like, what, you trying to get us to work for you? I'll never work for you. Your ass is trash. And it's like, I'll leave you with the same answer I left them. I'm never going to give you my answer because it's like, I never worked with those crews either. So if they find out my answer, what, it's the better passcode? Nah, fuck you. Everybody said you was trash. You fucking trash. So that's the end of it. And what other men said was fucking right. Now you dead here. You can leave philosophically. You can leave psychologically. You have nothing with me. Just because I'm smart and I do things well, and you somehow know about that from other nice people that were saved by each other, and then you think I'm going to put up with slavery with you and work for you? You fucking idiot. And nothing you can get to do. No one can buy me. Even I know what life is worth, so no one could ever throw like that much money at me to sell out pieces of your life. That's called fame. I don't owe like that much fame to life. I like stuff because I have talent. I have talent, motherfucker. There's a difference between fame and talent. I have talent. I don't just sit there and play around for fucking abuse and got better. That's not how I got good at things. And we're not talking about my talent. We're talking about what you're trying to confuse with talent. You really just a sicko or some kind of predator, and you want it like a way to exhibit that, and it's just not cool. It never is, and all you're doing is endanger people's lives. And more importantly, the way you obscure and mess with fate, why would I ever respect you or talk to you whatsoever? All of these things are almost like, you know, you could just, you know, die like a shit fly. Like, you just did too much feces, you could die from your own food. Like, it's just weird. Like, and I'm not like that, but like, you know, ultimately what I really say is like, bro, you keep this up, I'm gonna pepper spray you because you helping out a pervert too much, or you too much like a fucking pervert. Because like, you don't care who or what you do to the fucking world. You help out a pervert too fucking much to the point where there's nothing that anybody can do to even support if they wanted to help you in your facility. You just like putting shit and problems on people, or just like arguing with them and watching the argument. You a sicko. And it's weird because like, I didn't do anything to you. Oh, the other few people in the pack are innocent, and they won't give you what, their own personal power or their own personal experience or what they do with their lives to stay well or something. Like, we gave you the best that we can. Everything else is trash. There is no secret coveted knowledge or forbidden fruit about minding your own fucking business and just living. I've given you like considerable amounts of like peace behind minding your own business and just living. You didn't have a flashback. Oh, well, you don't need one anyway. But by the end of it, there is no greater fight, and I don't owe you anything. You're just a fucking sicko. Like all the other like strong, normal dudes said who didn't have anything against them. So you can't manipulate me against a bunch of people who were just men. Like, at the end of the day, they were just men. I know what you're talking about, the bravado or that little attitude that some men have, or they're just like, oh, I work for everything, so I own everything, and this is our world, and no one else is ever going to be men like, with and all that shit. I don't know. I don't care. That's not my thing either. I think they're disgusting too. But even the normal ones of them, they're still normal. They don't have that many psychological issues. They're already clear. And then by the end of it, the real issue is that you still a psychopath for no fucking reason. You just like watching them argue. What? Because you trapped in the corner? Is it 25 mil that's getting to you? Because they starting to realize that you buy your own politics and support your own politics. So they started to notice you really a fucking demon in disguise. I'm not going to put up with that shit. So what, would you went in after me because what, I instantly just don't like them and I start leaving? And even people start noticing I don't pay for my politics that way either. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about you're gambling on popularity contests, more something like that. But in the end, like, you can't do shit like that and then commit the world to working for demons and a bunch of fucked up, screwed up people in the head when I don't owe them anything. So it gets to a point where like, I give you the benefit of being a psychopath by like, go ahead, run your mouth about whatever you want, because whatever mask you're gonna wear, it's gonna get smashed, because I don't fucking owe you. I don't fucking owe you, and I'm not gonna fucking explain that fucking bullshit to you. But like, with all the rules that you fucking breaking towards fate, you never really want to admit anything. So what you doing? They argue, and the more they argue, they don't notice how disgusting you actually are. Bruh, in the end, stop talking to me, because it's just as bad on the other side, where I may not be perfect enough to look better like everybody else in the way that like that I have to worry about my appearance and do all this extra bullshit. But by the end of it, that's exactly what could clip you. So why are you fucking with me like you're trying to bring me up to surface when you're the one that could be blackmailed for yourself? We're not even talking about politics. We're talking about literally you're that disgusting of a person. All I have to do is be like, well, duh, when I chose to clip you was probably collect all your politics, all your shitty fucking things about you are showing through, which I call politics anyways, because you might as well be a better person around the fucking world. So you might as well be. But by the end of it, when it comes to those kind of shitty politics, you suppose you start looking like a fucking evil piece of shit, then get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like some other countries were in war with those countries purely because a demon was showing back in the day. So who the fuck do you think you're really talking to about like the lower statute of life seems to understand something? Who gives a shit what I understand? Don't you realize you wrong and just as badly as you sitting there trying to gamble your integrity and your life on me? Don't you realize that you already exposed your card and you look sick and I could clip you anytime and all I gotta do is go back to minding my own fucking business? If that's what scares you, stop trying to bait me in a war. Because in a head-to-head competition, face off, I would destroy you and you know it. So you can't afford to challenge me to no fucking duel. And then you can't afford the other aspect of where like you're trying to outthink me, but you have to do a bunch of dirty shit that you already got yourself caught up into. Why the fuck you even a piece of shit or a two-faced little backstabber or all the grimy shit that we hate in the world? Or it's easier to just call you a fake demon because you don't even have the work ethic to work that fucking hard. So you're trying to be lazy and then just bother the person's integrity. But I'll never have to fucking agree with you. And you know what, for all normal people, that might not even make sense. But let's just get back to the fucking point. We don't like those politics, so we don't fucking vote for them. We don't pay for them. So even if you're a hustler in the world and you're making more money, you know it's just as easy that money means nothing because they could just clip sew your motherfucking shit to any philosophy that isn't right and just be done with you. Now, if you're trying to do that in the reverse way and prove the world that on the underground and secretly, submersively, they're all secretly evil and all that shit, don't tell the world what they don't already know, because then by the end of it, it's like they could just bum rush you and attack you. So being two-faced that way doesn't really work like you playing it up to some kind of crowd. This isn't entertainment, dog, and you obviously know that, and obviously know that you're never gonna get famous with that fucking attitude, because people aren't really like that. It's just a fucking disgusting thing that you're doing in malpractice. And by the end of it, the hypocrisy of it all is that even if I did, it would be a better world. So why don't you just shut the fuck up and stop crybabying like a bitch? He's like, when I go down the procedures of all three things that you did wrong, or two things that you did wrong, and nobody even knows why we live in 3D and why you get three fucking chances and mistakes, then let's get back to the motherfucking point. You do so many wrong things to life and fate that when you take a big old H word, and I'm gonna say, man, just go do some drugs, because I'm not really talking to you. And so let's get back to the fucking point. Just go take your big H drug, because every time you do that, it's like a coherence to me. It's like, ooh, I have the right to eliminate. I have the right to get rid of. I have the right to throw you away. I have the right to do a lot of things because you did something wrong to fate. Don't ever try to get me to work for fate in front of you like you're trying to teach your kids something. You trash too. You teaching them to be trash and how you got this information. It's actually not cool. I don't care how bored you are. I don't care how you call that self-respect. At the end of the day, that's not self-respect. You trash and you making kids in child abuse out of that type of bullshit. That's not how you make stronger kids or try to produce some knowledge for yourself or get them to teach shit because you're embarrassed and ashamed to do so because you were trash and you don't have any right to any of the good wisdom. Well, you could have went and been a better person anyways. But besides the fact of knowing that, I would still be like, well, yeah, that's good. You didn't want to insult any other masteries who understood something in life that you probably sicko anyway. So you don't want to get caught being a good person and it looks like you hiding the fact that you a sicko or something, and it makes the whole world feel sicko and predatorial anyway. So you got no angle to move. KYS yourself. You know how they usually say. But otherwise, you trash. Now get the fuck out. Now, even when I'm looking at the whole situation, I'm like, if you keep doing that and I have the right to murk you off, why are you like trying to gamble more sessional games with me about something when I really fucking dislike it and I don't entertain it? The reason I'm putting this shit out there is like, after a while, when your psychological disappears, everybody will start to realize, holy shit, that was actually the few things that was wrong with the world. It's actually, yes, those few fucking people. And they think that they're gambling on other people's strength and pride. Like, bruh, everybody has families, and they keep reminding you of that. You're not getting it, are you? All of them have families. You're not understanding. The world is built behind they are not mistakes. They have families. You're not even an older type of Brutus. You don't even know that. So why even abuse that knowledge like it's a courtesy to just get by and get them arguing over pig? We don't owe you another man that was normal. See, you a sicko, because after a while it's like, we can understand how you would want a few men out of the way and that they're just sickos, or like they're too obsessed with, like, you know, being men and disposing other people into why they work hard in their life, or not work hard, but why they like try too hard to be like fucking scumbags or something, or be strong men to a point where it's just offensive. We can understand that hatred for men. But then after a while, when you started blaming some men that are borderline fucking innocent, it was like, nah, you a sicko piece of trash and we don't owe you. And even I have to go back a few notches and agree with the normal men and be just like, you know, you trash. And I don't care anybody else who's innocent and ever runs into this shit, just say that person is trash forever until they give up, like a fucking robot. Because the robot answer is like, no, you don't have that much money in your account. You know you're not worth that much. No, oh well, except you're poor. Or just go do something else with your fucking life. The answer is no. It just isn't that way. So no matter how much you harass, it's just not true. So by the end of it, you being a sicko or anything, you a sicko. Period. That's all. You sicko or you trash. Now, all the other cute ones that know that they will always have the responsibility to protect themselves and what they know is somewhat innocent when everybody has to go turn their backs and do stuff is still like, you know, we are infinite soldiers in weird ways, but like the few places that we post up with the rest of our philosophies and the rest of the world's philosophies for like, if this shit ends, remind them why it was supposed to be decent or whatever the fuck, little dude. When you leave a little kid like that and they become a grown-ass man and they start knowing that they can just eat things, they don't really have the concept of like, this is all I was left with. Yeah, bro, it's called survivalism or some shit. Because by the end of it, I'm like, well, if the world ends that way, little dude, like, you tell them that, like, you know, this is what we stood for before they tried to take us down and shit. And power isn't your problem. You shouldn't be obsessed with power. You know what I mean? So, like, even by the end of it, they're like, I don't know why you got to suck my master's toes or suck my toes or suck everybody's dick. And I'm talking to a man, too, because that dude's clearly a man. He's a sick on our own. But then by the end of it, it's like to go through all that and just for the pure sake of messing with people, or what you really trying to do that everybody knows is like, you're trying to, like, get them out of the way and then get all their data, information, and power, and then try to redo the person under your type of bullshit. You basically want to steal their lives and shit. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I know not to worry about that. I know that, like, some of these things are instant KS, and it's not like, you know, I owe you. But it's just kind of like, why the fuck would you ever do this? And how disgusting is this that nobody gave me permission to do anything but the fact that the surface of fate is probably normal? Get it? Most of the reason why I don't. But then by the end of it, just like messing with the fucking guards and shit, you like stupid. Even when people see the joke and it's like, oh, you had a moment, but when you try to make that a lifestyle, something's wrong with you and you a pig piece of shit and you can't just blame man. At that point, you're not a man hater or a man eater or some shit. And like the worst part is that, remember, child abuse will never be your excuse because you a sicko. You can't really talk to the child that's left over and try to convince them that this is how you fight the world to be evil and shit. You can't just like abduct kids into a fight club and then try to teach them and raise them to be demons. You just can't do that. It just doesn't work that way. Sorry, buddy. That's all. Right. You know what I mean? Even Joker couldn't do that bullshit. So go away about it. Right? And like, no one's like that. So I don't owe you anything. But then trying to break their philosophies through me and trying to get me to make a mistake. Maybe I don't owe you anything. Whores, gambling, slut, like, oh well, bro, like, all that stuff does bother me, but whether you knew that or not, like, I don't make that impression on the world. But even if that's what I'm left with, I still don't see why you think that that's a tool or anything, like even porn or shame, and like why you think that ultimately that leads them to having to fight for you and work as an evil motherfucker or demon or whatever the fuck. Even I don't really like blaming demons for how sicko you are, because even after the end of the day, it was like, you know, I work too hard to explain, so, you know, whoever is going to be paying the rent is a slumlord because they don't like them. And, you know, they're always going to be a slumlord. That's just how it is to me. They're always going to be a demon. Or they always work hard enough that they think that they just deserve everything and demand because of how hard they work. Of course, we'll always hate those type of men or those type of demons. And even when they're not guilty of fucking everything in the world, but when they cheat and got a free fucking life, they mad at demons all of a sudden. Together they mad at them because they work too hard. And so in the end, there's no room for me to speak up or say anything. But the end of the earth is like, I told you this before you tried to raid what you think human beings are fucking worth. We're talking about our own personal lives and shit. Like what you think life is worth by the way that you act and treat the fucking world. Like the world isn't your bastard. You don't have the right to do that. And I don't care how many people didn't say anything. You start finding people that you're like, that dude will probably smack the shit out of you or destroy you or flatten you out to exactly where you made that mistake. You know what's weird? You right. And I watched you do some of those things. But then when it comes to like, not in my territory, where you posted up is so fucking disgusting to make it implicatable to everybody else to live a worse nightmare as you go out. Like, bro, you're just disgusting to a lot of people. And you want to make sure they're disgusted before before you dunished. Like, oh, well. And I'm not even threatening you. I'm just saying, oh, well, because anybody would have, like, if they figured out what you were doing, they flatline. And how many times, and I don't even want to talk censored, but how many times did I have to say certain things that you did that send a whole life gesture to, like, how dare you? Because, like, when other people find out what you really said and what you really intended to do to provoke me or other people, they might even try to work against you, too. Like, because you know you can't tell an honest, good world what you think you're getting away with just to antagonize or provoke me as a good person. Well, I don't need your help at that either. Like, so many different places where you are a sicko that, of course, I don't owe you anything. But you know what? The first man that you didn't like, or the brute that made sense and was already clean, and he just said simply that you're trash, we kept saying it until eventually you gotta live with the fact that you trash. So, like, when you do get to me to that diluted answer, it'll be in some kind of privacy. But by the end of it, it's like, why didn't you want any privacy with what I had to say to you? It's like I'm taunting you by being good. What the fuck is your problem with Superman? You ever see these motherfuckers randomly hate a superhero and shit? You like hate Superman. You hate like all the basic motherfucking like good superheroes. I'm talking about the good ones. Now I know there's like, you know, too good or like whatever. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense or blah, blah. Fine. But like by the end of it, just for the hell of it, yeah, we got something for you, because you can't even stand talking to good people or like they're normal. That's why sometimes I just be like, you a demon or whatever. Fuck. Something's wrong with you. Like I talk about the money being good for everyone, and now everyone is a demon. We all get 25 mil after this conversation's over. Why are you like scared and a little bit angry and like, you know, nah, that's bullshit. Yeah, like, oh nah, bro, I'm against that. I don't want 25 million for everybody. Right, right. Anyway, by the end of it, like, just afraid to talk to good people. And it's not like we have to go with the other big C word or whatever the fuck. But by the end of it, it's still crazy to know that somebody's actually that fucking crazy. Now, even when I don't think you're trying to display talent, because you can't be that crazy or stupid. But if that's what that was, or get something from their lives, why would you think I would rat on other masters? I'm talking about, like, you want their life, their philosophies, their art, all their stuff to be yours. And you almost like willing to suck their lives into your trashy bullshit and then try to get a duel out of them. And even when you know the duel is never going to work because everybody else already believes in all of them. But like, when you're never going to get a duel out of them and it's still something kind of trashy that you're doing, why would we want fate to be lesser than the world when you're just trash? And I guess that's your message on the way out, is that you're trash or that you're less than the whole world's worth. Then of course they're not paying attention to that much, so I don't blame them for it. But just attacking salvation or civilization and knowing that I'm just near those two mass, then like fuck off. I don't care if there's like less than 200 mass. Just get the fuck away from the definition of life and earth and like, you know, all heavenly and shit. Just stay the fuck away from all this. Because even other motherfucking demons that wouldn't be lead on their fucking side are still like, nah, bro, just get out of their offices. Like, even people that are in the other team are like, nah, just get out, you stupid, you disgust me. Like, dog, when other thugs have to stand up and just be like, shut the fuck up, go away. I don't care, get 25 mil. Like, we still punk your ass or some shit. You know, KYS. It's just shit. like that dude's rep code would be KYS. It's terrible, because it's like you went too far, and then you see somebody else and it's like you clearly a hater, and we're not even talking about a me of just like life, and it's terrible and sad to see. And even nerds did it differently, and they were a little bit more tactically grimy to a point where it was like, I can't even believe my nerd is getting away with this. This is crazy. I'm out of here. But it was like intellectually towards a point where it was like, man, you really like just, you know, want to be alone or something, and that's understandable. So I left. I didn't have anything to say. They just say some crazy shit every once in a while when they were pissed off, whatever. But like the thing you're doing, like trying to prove some dominion over like lives and shit, you are truly a villain in sick ways, because it seems like you just want fate messed up for everybody. And then when I'm sitting there, I'm like, if it's your plan to trap me fixing fate, I don't see it as a compliment, so I'll never accept that. And then by the end of it, I don't need any fucking thing for that. I don't need anything for that. And then by the end of it, like, when you're in your own trap, like trying to smuggle your contraband of emotion into the fucking world and shit, maybe don't you realize that I can deal with the fact that not all of my emotions are there too, and that I was voted out about something normal that I didn't want? Or like I just didn't like pop culture that fucking much, so I stayed on the underground. Or like, I don't know, like I just don't know, I don't care. There's a lot of things I just don't need. So by the end of it, on the other person's joint, I'm like, well, if that's what your problem is, you can't be mad at me. Like, this is the end, buddy. Get out of here. I'm asking you to leave. Right? Get out of this nightclub type of crap. You know, like, there's nothing to say. And if you're just that disgusting, then you're just that disgusting. Since I don't owe you anything. But when you make more gestures like that, just keep in mind, with all the threats that you're sending humanity, it might be easy for me to just like be done with you. To be just like be done with you. Because like, it's just like, you know, I don't know, man. Like, put it this way. In the rules of engagement, you've already done enough bad things where I could describe the story and people understand. They're like, well, dude, you don't do that shit to other people, because then they're liable to just go out of their way and throw you away like trash. Just throw you away like trash, because you already did enough to affect the modern day family, dog. Like, I don't think you understand the nucleus that we're protecting here, the normal cluster, the modern day life, dog, like the module family. We just protecting some basic shit, and you like mad at the world for what? It's like, I don't owe your testicles anything, so what? I didn't take your right to reproduce. Like, the world isn't over. Like, who knows where you're coming from? Because even I'm going to base level, like, if you're not a pervert, then I don't know, you a sicko, and I don't like them either. So it's just like, you know, what are you dangling by? Because you don't need me, and I'm not going to sit there and raise somebody through all the chaos that I know. Like, you're an idiot. That's child abuse. You a sicko. You know what I'm saying? You a sicko. And you need to understand that, because whoever that shit is, you're not giving them anything from the heart of what it really is to survive. You like dumping them off at service robots who only know what the philosophies that are left over. Do you know what my masters were like? You think that I got a really super duper cushy? Well, let me tell you the truth. Nobody said anything to me. It's just kind of like, you know, when you fall down, you dust yourself off, and I can't even tell you whether you're right or wrong type of shit. And life just kind of beats the shit out of you. And sometimes they say dust it off, and sometimes they say accept the wound, because it's not your mistake. It's the fact that you learned something from it. So keep the scar. What the fuck? You think that's spoiled? I don't owe you nothing. Like, there's a lot of things to fucking say, and I wish it was more an enriching conversation, but I can't give you nothing if you really only willing enough to make it worse. For what? That's your version of solace? Like, are you that spoiled in the digital age? It's not like, you know, people can't attain just going to go live in life. Like, just go live. Because you the crazy one. Everybody else is sitting there and they're like, I don't need an answer. Maybe they were thinking about it randomly, but eventually they go their own way. You the one trying to provoke it and keep it a sicko for nothing. I'm so glad I actually have nothing to do with it, though. But to a normal person, or even to a normal savage, or a normal thug, or a normal tribesman, or any of that stuff on the other side of philosophies, whether you understood or not the other perspective that is very different, it's still going to be like, don't you realize you're breaking so many rules of engagement that you wouldn't have gotten to eat fruit with us anyway? You wouldn't have gotten past the bushes. Like, you a sicko. You a saboteur. That's about all you could come up with. So, you know, I don't know, don't expect any great mysteries or secrets from anybody else or anything. And I'm a wall to that, so it's probably suggested that we don't know why he doesn't care, but he's always fought for the right thing, and he's always loved and respected us because they never did anything wrong. It's just that simple. We all innately understand what not to do from either parents or from the other people that were raising people in the community. You realize, oh, those what those things are. If you don't have that kind of sense, we don't know where you came from or what that logic is, but your rules of engagement are on the villain side, and sometimes it's just better to smack you out. Like, bro, you trash. It's just that simple. You trash. It's sad too, because I really want to go at you and hit you with all that bullshit, but by the end of it, you trash. It's just that simple. So remember, if anything, remember that person is trash. Anybody who thinks that they have to like vandalize fate or inflict fate like that, and they just keep harassing, remember to just sit there and call him trash, because he didn't like those other men for some reason. And while he's at being the worst person in the fucking world and will never be able to live a real life above the normality because he's already fucking done so many fucking things wrong or something and just has to live that way, remember, he'll never be better than men either. So just support the last normal men you saw, because men ain't that fucking bad that even I have to go backwards and trash them. Even with child abuse, I don't have to go backwards and trash them. I just don't. You can go argue with your parents. You can go do whatever the fuck you want. That's not that kind of judgment. But on a personal, internalized part where, like, the hatred that you're saving for the destroying life in society doesn't actually belong to men fully in that way anyway. So we may not have had to like them or certain parts of them, but, like, no, it doesn't belong to men that way. You full on a psychopath, and you're even past demon sometimes, where I feel like I shouldn't say demon to punish you. But it's more that I have to gamble about getting rid of their geist in their lives, about what people don't understand who they're working for half the fucking time. So that's the sad part of where it ends meet about what tribe is and about what their actual statutes and limits in life are. And that's all, their limits in life. So before you know what fruit is, you have to go and grow or some shit. Like there's got to be something else. Like you're missing a few steps before you put on that crazy ass mask and try to antagonize me or whatever the fuck. None of those philosophies will ever belong to humankind, because there wouldn't be a civilization, there wouldn't be anything. And even a tribe still has enough rules to support itself without a nemesis. So by the end of it, yes, a nemesis is really that old, so I don't care to even explain it. But like, you don't need to taunt a tribe because they're eating food for no reason. Everyone knows that. Get that. Everyone knows that. You know how old you would have to be to know something like that? Yes, that's innate knowledge that people just know. They're not even affecting fate. You're just that fucking sicko, or you're that sicko that you work for something that wrong since no one knows since so wrong. They're so wrong, it was before your time of so wrong. Is still as wrong as now and then. You right. So by the end of it, just sicko. So we're just done here. That's what you get from me. And the other ones even just said, get out of here, you trash. I'm going to go with trash, since you just don't really seem to go with why. You know what I mean? Like, you could have figured out anything. You could have even worked with them like other people who just didn't like me and just knew already that I wasn't even there to bother about anything, just to offend me to see what I was like or something. Because I don't know. Because I don't even know. And I still went to go mind my own business because they were all legitimately straight. Like, if somebody might be like more normal than me, or just normal enough to not bother, that's instant leave alone. That's like beautiful. That's cool. Like, go do your own thing. Maybe I just wasn't your type, you know? You learn to accept some rejection in life. But like the way that you do weird shit like that, bruh, that's liable to get you in trouble, and you're not working out of the other opposite book if that's what you're thinking. Because I don't work out of that book either, but I know the book. You knew I would have to know that book. Of course, I have to study up that part, because it's like, you know, that's all those things are offered to us way too fucking much, and what these here lives are and shit. So whatever it is whatever it is. But of course, I learned to grow into that. But by the end of it, if you've been reading the other book too much, then you have to learn when to stop yourself, because this isn't like a good bet on your life. You obviously keep throwing your life away or something. But if you're just doing that to think that you're going to watch them fix fate, we would never do that in front of a villain anyway, so you're an idiot. Not that way anyway. Or like, you know what? Let's go back a few notches from my real feelings, and then, because that would be my own real mistakes, to have feelings that I'm not ashamed of. I don't have that thing about my aggression and my anger. So, you know, I'm not afraid of telling you how I feel. When it comes to the other factor, it's like, you know, you wish you had a relationship that I loved you enough, like the courtesy of a masters, of like, this is going to be a long shuttle flight. We're going to go ahead and put some of you to fucking sleep while we're going through a non-euthanization, so don't worry about the villain, as we're all just going to nap this off until we get to the next luxury flight on whatever, right? You know what I mean? Like, where's SpaceX? Let's get this trip to Mars going. What about these electric cars? Beautiful, aren't they? Welcome to civilization. Like, it could be normal. And then it's like, oh, look, Britain fell asleep. I love those guys. Let's let them go to sleep. And then, you know, they take a nap, they'll wake up, they'll have some wine, there'll be some custard cakes there, little eclairs, chocolate-filled croissants. And no, all right, well, whatever. And small, you know, tour wine and whatnot. It could all be normal and good. But your ass won't even take a nap. It's like you gotta win something. Just leave us all the fuck alone. I'm not even that fucking hostile about any of the things that I have. And we're talking about all the other people that have true power that you don't notice. Well, guess what, motherfucker? Like, you don't notice them because they're super duper fucking normal and I love and respect them. So there's no way you can get me to turn on them either. So just go away. I might be a little bit crazy. I might be uppity. I might say some ghetto slang, talk shit and whatever the fuck not. But I'm not gonna just like go El Calypso on them for eclipses on the day of the year just because you a sicko. We just don't care about this shit. Just stop talking to the Moon Tribe so much and leave the Blood Rainers alone, because I don't even owe you tyranny. It's just weird shit like that. And the fucking the Sun Union or whatever is fucking completely acting normal like they always are, other than the pride of what you tried to beat out of their fucking families doesn't mean anything that way to them. And especially when you're talking to another tactile, it's like, why would you even care if you even believe the other one that said that they're not made up of all the families anyways? They're all made up of some guy's ego and maniacal mistakes. Then get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? I don't even respond to him, and you know why. So shut the fuck about it. Because like even by the end of it, it's like left with survivalism and civilization. If it ends, remember to tell them what it was about for those ones. And then even if I did tell them, it would just be like, oh well, even if you murked me off, you would know it, and then you'd probably live a better life anyway. For the rest of civilization, who's gonna rebound back to rebuilding the earth. Even though I'm not one of those, I'm just saying, like, you know, I don't know why, but like at least they'll know that like even the ghetto ones, we're not on your dumbass crazy side. You know, go suck Thanos' stones then. I don't owe you. It's shit like that. And I'm sorry to use some comic book characters, but after a while, it's like, people don't understand. I was ridiculed about Thanos just for the hell of it, and I didn't owe them anything. So if you want to go fuck up your own gene pool, that's up to you. And it's not like it's all a cosmic joke. Silver Surfer's in his underwear, too. Painted himself silver and wasn't a meth head. Yeah, there's a lot of jokes out there about that. You know what? We don't owe you. We don't care. But I'll tell you one thing. Like, leave me the fuck alone about Thanos, because I'd rather sell weapons on the high market than to ever talk to Thanos. So, you know, just fuck off. And whether you like antagonizing people and causing another argument so people are blind to your demonic bullshit, we don't owe you. Stop trying to blackmail people. We don't owe you. It just doesn't work on some people, and they like those people. Even I don't respond to it. It's like, you're gonna blackmail me over. Like, I'll never owe you anything. Like, we just don't work that way. You don't know what religion I'm from, and there's no way to blackmail for you about the religion that I'm from anyway, or any religion really. But like, there's no way to. So, like, by the end of it, just accept some good people are not willing to tolerate for little or nothing because you affected fate. You don't go into somebody's house and touch their walls. You don't knock over a statue from another country. Even they don't like it when you sell spoils of war, but it's still better for culture to know itself and to be able to get the rest of its salvation back, to know what their civilization looked like. It's still weird, like, technical things, but I'd rather debate about that than why you're so stupid that you can't see that you are affecting fate to a certain level where I don't owe you. We're not even talking about families. We're just saying about like life and bloodlines. Do you even realize that you don't consider them human to a certain point where the mask and facades are more entertaining to you? Purely. You couldn't even say that, and you couldn't even be nerdy with me. Because even as a true artist, I still am like, you can't say that to me and you still would be nerdy. And by the end of it, like, where do you revel in your actual mistake to find out or show who the hell you really are? So you're not an artist either, because it's not like we all don't have a part that actually is like, we like that character because that character was super cool. That character went to a few different planets and we've never seen any other planets. Oh, that's why you like Thanos. No problem. Yeah, but just stay away from some of those stones, because it's not like they were built one way or anything. Or you don't know anything about it, because even I don't, you know. They're all made to do something in the world. Exit tro, exit tro, exit tro, exit tro.
Hey guys, I think he used the Thanos and Silver Surfer defense.